Okay, so I welcome you all to this class as we are continuing with the juxtaglomerular apparatus. As I did the introduction part one, we talked about the general function of the kidney. From there, we looked at different parts of the nephron, though that was just an introduction. Then we are going to cover this topic component by component so that we can have more time on everything. Okay, so juxtaglomerular apparatus, as I explained, it's actually a very simple system that they have said apparatus. So I mentioned to say that in the kidney, there's what we call the nephron within it. Okay, so nephron being the structural and functional unit of the kidney, we looked at the structure of the nephron. We looked at the tubular, the vascular, um, um, as well as the tubular vascular, where the vascular and the tubular meet. This area where the vascular and the tubular meet, that's why I described to say that this is what we call the juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, so the juxtaglomerular apparatus actually consists of three major components. Okay, these three major components, as you can see this diagram, it's this is distal convoluted tube, this is the Bowman's capsule, then there is afferent arteriole coming here. So within the distal convoluted tube, there are what we call macular dense cells. These which ones we are looking cuboid or more like cuboid epithelial cells here. These are what we call macular densa. Then with juxtaglomerular cells, these juxtaglomerular cells are near the afferent arterioles. Okay. Then we have cells more like at this triangle here. Those cells are called extraglomerular messenger cells. They are located just down here as if you are going toward down the glomerulus. So sometimes they like asking question about the juxtaglomerular apparatus. Why? Because this is a very much important component, especially when we start looking at the renin-angiotensin system. You realize that it's a very much important topic in the regulation of blood pressure, regulation of fluid and everything. Actually, a lot. Okay. So as I mentioned to say that the major components of juxtaglomerular apparatus, we have the juxtaglomerular cells, we have the macular denser cells, and we have the extraglomerular messenger cells, the ones I was describing there. Now, the most important part we need to know at this, because most equations phrase, they just tell you, describe the component or describe the juxtaglomerular apparatus. So you need to know these three major components and know what they do. Once you know what they do, you know the mechanism they use. Okay. Then you have no issues with whenever such a question comes. You just start explaining. So the juxtaglomerular apparatus is a part of the nephron. It consists about three, which is the juxtaglomerular cells, the macular denser cells, the extraglomerular messenger cells. Now, let us describe cell per cell. What are these? What do they do? Okay. So what are juxtaglomerular cells? These specialized smooth muscle cells are located in the walls of the afferent arteriole, as I mentioned, which supply blood to the glomerulus, as we know that the afferent arteriole is the one which supplies blood to the glomerulus. So these cells they actually produce and store renin. A renin is an enzyme, plays a critical role in regulating blood pressure. So for now, let's take it to say where these cells are found. We said that they are found in the walls of the afferent artery, which brings blood to the glomerulus. Okay. Then what is the function of these cells? They produce and store renin. Renin, we've said it plays a very much important role in the production of or in the regulation of blood pressure. Okay. We'll find out more about renin as we go on. Right now, let's describe the structure and the function. Then we go to the macular denser cells, those cells which are more like cuboid epithelial cells. So these are specialized epithelial cells located in the distal convoluted tube. They are just near the distal convoluted tube, are in close proximity to the afferent artery.
So,
Yes?
Kindly slow down.
Okay. All right. I'll try by all means to slow down. So the macular denser cells, these specialized epithelial cells are located in the distal convoluted tube, are in the close proximity to the afferent artery. So as I displayed in the previous slide, these are actually those, they were looking like cuboid epithelium. They're in close proximity to the afferent artery, which brings blood to the Bowman's caps. So what do they do? Why are they there? So the macular denser cells detect changes in the concentration of sodium ions in the tubular fluid and send signals to the juxtaglomerular cells to adjust renin release. So in the regulation of blood pressure, okay, sodium ions play a very critical role. What do they do? As I mentioned in the previous lecture, mentioning about sodium ion, when I was teaching transport across the cell membrane, I said that where sodium, water follows where sodium goes. So if there you have low sodium levels in your body, it means that you don't have a lot of water. That is, we're talking about blood volume. Blood volume is what determines your blood pressure. If water is enough in blood, it means that the blood volume is large and blood will accommodate the veins. They will be evenly distributed of blood. But if sodium is not enough, it means that it's not getting enough water to bring it in the system. It means that at that point we call it hypotension, meaning that the pressure is just lower than normal. So the macular denser cells, as I said, they just detect the change in the sodium, okay, in the tubular fluid and send signal to the juxtaglomerular cells. I said juxtaglomerular cells stores renin and they store and produce renin. So all these cells want is that to send the information to the juxtaglomerular cells. Right now, you can release renin so that the blood pressure can be regulated. Are we together? Are we together? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have the extraglomerular messenger cells. So these are cells I said they are located just downwards. Apart from those two, they are located downwards. We call that more like a triangle. At that triangle, where the distal, the afferent, and the glomerulus are meeting, the Bowman's caps are meeting, we call that triangle. That's where these cells are. So what do? These they actually just provide structural support to the juxtaglomerular apparatus. More like they help to like anchor all the components that are there and facilitate communication between the juxtaglomerular cells and macular denser cells. In summary, I mentioned to say that juxtaglomerular cells, they store and produce renin. Renin is an important enzyme that is uh, responsible for regulation of blood pressure. Then the macular denser cells, they contain specialized cells that detect the levels of sodium. Low levels of sodium, it means that your blood pressure should be lower than normal. So your body need to regulate itself by sending signal to the juxtaglomerular cell to release renin. Then I said the extraglomerular messenger cells, they are just there for support of the juxtaglomerular apparatus and facilitate communication between the juxtaglomerular cells and the macular denser cells. Is everyone clear there? Okay. So, what is the function of these juxtaglomerular cells? As I mentioned, so the function of the juxtaglomerular cells, they are just there. Uh, they play a critical role in the blood pressure regulation and kidney function through two main mechanisms. What are these two main mechanisms? One, regulation of blood pressure. So the juxtaglomerular apparatus help regulate blood pressure by controlling the amount of renin released by the G cells. Renin triggers a cascade of reaction that ultimately lead to the production of angiotensin II, a potent vasoconstrictor that increases blood pressure. I will explain more on what angiotensin II is all about in the next lecture. But for now, know that angiotensin II causes vasoconstrictor. It makes the vessels to constrict so that it can accommodate the available blood that is in the vessels, then increasing blood pressure. Then there is tubular glomerular feedback. The juxtaglomerular apparatus help regulate glomerular filtration rate by detecting the changes in sodium levels in the distal converted tube and adjusting the afferent arterial diameter. So this is just the component that I was explaining about, those cells and the regions. So they help to regulate glomerular filtration rate. Glomerular filtration rate is amount of filter that moves from the bloodstream going into the Bowman's capsule or Bowman's capsule per minute, and it's approximately about 125 milliliters per minute. That's the amount of filter that enters the what's this, the Bowman's capsule per minute. So when sodium levels in the distal cells are high, the macular denser cells send signal to the juxtaglomerular cells, which are responsible for production of renin, to decrease renin release, which leads to decreased angiotensin II production. Angiotensin II, once it is reduced, it means that there is vasodilatation. Since this angiotensin II is a vasoconstrictor, so if it is inhibited or its function is being hindered, it means that it will no longer constrict those blood vessels, meaning that the lumen will still be wide enough. Okay, and increase the afferent arterial diameter. So this increases blood flow to the glomerulus and increases glomerular filtration rate. Glomerular filtration rate is just about this blood is coming, this blood is coming from the circulation. How much of it is it going to enter the Bowman's capsule for it to be filtered in the other system? That's the glomerular filtration rate. And I said it's approximately about 125 milliliter per minute. That's the amount of blood that enters into the Bowman's capsule. Okay, so these are just key mechanisms as I was explaining. Okay, all these, they are just part of it, but the most important part I wanted to mention is what these cells do. Okay, so these ones are actually simple. I've already explained them. Then there's aldosterone regulation. Then clinical significance is all about what can we learn from this? Clinically, how can we apply it? So someone can develop hypertension. Hypertension is high blood pressure. When there is overactivation of renin, renin is the one which regulates blood pressure. But if there is overactivation, it means that someone is going to develop hypertension or kidney disease due to damage to the juxtaglomerular cells. So kidney disease can come in that this system is there to remove the toxin, right? Then it's no longer working. It can no longer be regulated. It means that things can be more than extreme. Okay, that's how it is. Is anyone behind somewhere? Hello? Are we all together? Sarah, are you in class? Florence?
Yes, sir, we are together.
Okay. So is it clear on the juxtaglomerular apparatus?
Somehow, sir, because you're too fast.
I'm too fast.
Yes.
Do you know that I'm too fast? Okay, so this usually, like this, so this class I was recording. So the meeting can only be there for, I think, 40 minutes. So we'll revise, but for now, let me just end the class. Then you join back in the next 2 minutes. Then we classify we make clarification where they are, where you're not understanding. Okay.